Why does my Liberation Notes feel so different from other K-dramas? Why does a story where, on the surface, so little seems to happen, feel so emotionally compelling? It's because this drama understands something many stories avoid, that some of the deepest suffering in life is quiet, repetitive, and painfully ordinary. And that's exactly where its question of liberation begins. What does liberation mean in my Liberation Notes? Part 1. There are some dramas that feel less like television and more like a book you have somehow lived inside. My Liberation Notes is one of those dramas. It doesn't rush. It doesn't perform for us. It doesn't beg us to care. Instead, it does something much harder. It quietly places us inside the relentless mundaneness of ordinary life and asks us to sit there long enough for something deeper to reveal itself. And that's why My Liberation Notes lingers for so long after you finish it. On the surface, this is a drama about 3 siblings, exhausted by work, family life, commuting, disappointment, and the suffocating repetition of being alive when nothing particularly dramatic seems to be happening. In the very beginning of the drama, Mi-jong says, "Every moment that I'm awake feels like work. Nothing ever happens. No one ever likes me." Enter Mr. Gu, the mysterious outsider, who arrives with his own hidden past, carrying shame, a sense of danger, and a kind of apathy he can't seem to shake off. But underneath all of that, this drama is asking a question that is much larger than plot alone. What does liberation actually mean in this drama? Mi-jong declares, "I want liberation. I want to be liberated." Which, naturally, leads us to ask, liberated from what? And to where? That question sits at the heart of this series. Because My Liberation Notes is not really interested in offering a simple, glamorous version of freedom. It is not a drama that says liberation means moving to Seoul, finding romance, getting the perfect job, becoming more confident, or finally becoming the version of yourself that other people admire. In fact, one of the most striking things about this drama is that it resists all those usual ideas of escape. Instead, My Liberation Notes suggests something much more difficult and, at the same time, much more honest. Liberation in this drama is not about escaping life. It's not about perfection or being rescued. And it's not finally about becoming someone else. Liberation is the gradual, painful, unfinished process of accepting the life you've been dealt, accepting other people, and most importantly, accepting yourself. What makes this drama so interesting is that it explores these ideas through small, quiet details. There are long train rides, awkward dinners, long silences, humiliation, longing, failed relationships, and alcohol addiction. Yet all of this is counterbalanced by a recurring message from a church sign the characters see almost daily on their commute: "Something good will happen to you today." The quote feels at times to be mocking these characters, and at other times providing the thinnest shred of hope they'd almost lost. This video essay looks at what liberation means in this slice-of-life K-drama through a few connected themes. The contrast between city and countryside, the pressure to conform, the longing to be changed or saved, the question of whether people really can change, and, finally, the drama's ending, which offers us not a perfect answer, but an imperfect and very moving one. Part 1. Liberation begins. One of the reasons Mi-jong's longing for liberation feels so powerful is that the drama makes us feel, almost physically, how suffocating her life is. She says, "I feel cramped and stifled. I want to break free. It feels like I'm stuck, but I don't know how to get out." Mi-jong's state of mind captures something many people feel, but struggle to articulate. She does not simply want a different life. She wants release from an internal spiritual and emotional desert. She says, "I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy either. I wouldn't care if the world ended now." This is one of the things My Liberation Notes does so brilliantly because it doesn't portray suffering as dramatic all the time. Sometimes suffering is quiet. Sometimes it's repetitive. Other times, it's just the slow erosion of the self, through exhaustion, humiliation, and emotional neglect. Mi-jong's life is full of these small erosions. At work, she is belittled and infantilized. Her beauty is discussed as though she is an object to be evaluated. One colleague says that yes, she is pretty when you look at each of her features individually, but as a whole, she's quite bland. It is such a cruel line, because it reduces her to parts and then judges the whole as lacking. She is also patronized by co-workers who call her cute and wipe the corner of her mouth. Her boss is overbearing. She is pressured into office culture she hates. She's questioned and made to account for why she has not joined a work club. Her home doesn't seem to be a source of comfort, either. Conversations are practical, clipped, and emotionally barren. Even the family meals feel tense and restrained. And then there's the commute. Those long train rides that the drama lingers on. The endless movement between the countryside and the city, between one form of deadening activity and another. The drama makes us sit inside this repetition with the characters. We feel as though we have been on their exhausting commute with them. All of this builds up to the idea of liberation as a desperate need, more than as an abstract philosophical concept. Mi-jong is not asking for self-actualization in a glamorous sense. She is simply asking how to survive a life that feels as though it's slowly killing her. And once the drama establishes that suffocating feeling so clearly, it begins to ask an even more interesting question. If Mi-jong feels trapped, where exactly is the trap? Is it in her circumstances? In the city? In the countryside? In other people's expectations? In Part 2, we'll explore one of the drama's most fascinating tensions. The contrast between city and countryside, and the way My Liberation Notes links conformity with the quiet fury of ordinary life.